Well, we've been talking a lot about We Own This City over the last couple of weeks. You guys are watching it every Monday night on HBO. And man, I'm really excited about this, dude, because joining us now, once upon a time, you knew this man as Poot. And now you see him as Gordon Hawk on We Own This City. It's so cool that Trey Chaney is with us here on GCR. Trey, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's so good to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Hey Glenn, thank you, man. I'm excited to be on. We've been planning this for a long time now. So to finally be on, I'm excited. And go ahead.
I know you're busy filming. I know how this works. Like, Josh is one of my best friends, man. And even it was like trying to nail down the time. I'm like,
yeah, Josh Charles, man. Shout out to Josh Charles, man. That's my brother. We had so much fun at the New York premiere of We Own This City. It was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Trey, dude, just take me through. I talked to Delaney about this a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Being back 20 years later. And I guess for you, because you were in every season, it was more like 15 years later. But being back all this time later, working with David, working with some of these guys that you've known, how do you describe what that experience was like for you being back here in Baltimore to film this?
Man, it was a full circle moment for me and all of us, from David Simon to George Pelicanos, Nina Noble, Ed Burns. I mean, the same team that the reason why I'm here today, like being discovered on The Wire. And God, man, it was just a surreal moment for me because a lot of people don't know I kept in touch with David Simon for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Even during The Wire, once The Wire ended, every now and then you'll shoot him a text or email around holidays, birthdays, or, just to check on the family. And he kept his word. He always said, look, when something comes up, when I got the right thing, I'm going to call you. And just me going on about my business, still, being in this business, doing other projects like Saints and Sinners and on Bounce TV and, Streets with Meek Mill and my own documentary, Undeniable. He called 20 years later with the same Wire crew. And he's like, look, we got this project. We own this city. Totally different role for you. You'll be playing this police officer, Gordon Hawk. You'll be playing this police officer, Gordon Hawk. And he's with the Harford County Narcotics Task Force. And I'm like, this is the perfect role for me, right? So Dre Severino, a detective out there in Baltimore, I just remember, man, being on set, going through all of the training, walking like a police officer, knowing how to wear the badge, where to put the gun. Even that scene that you seen me when I had to slide under the truck and put the tracker under it. That was like real choreography, and my back was hurting for like a week after that because I had to do it like 50 times, right?
Oh, and legitimately on asphalt. Oh
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, most definitely. But it was amazing, man. And then just this story of, the Baltimore Police Department gun trace task force. When you think about police, this was the worst unit in policing history because, when you think about police, being there for the community and really just protecting the people and solving crimes, and they were doing a total opposite. They were using their power and authority to mistreat people, from corruption to planting drugs on you to robbing. And I mean, anything you could think of that was negative. And it just goes to show, man, that stuff doesn't continue long. Whatever you're doing in the dark will be brought to light. My character, Gordon Hawk, was, like I said, on the Harford County Narcotics Task Force. He was the assistant to Officer David McDougal.
Yeah,
McDougal. And we just solving drug cases, and we were kind of like the probe that set the gun trace task force in motion, because as you can see with the tracking and everything that was going on with the tracking, once that went under the truck, it was another tracker, we like our own people tracking these drug dealers so they could rob them, but we trying to solve cases. So it's an amazing story. It was real. It's a heavy story. So
Big
they had
time.
to have that. Yeah, most definitely. They had to have therapists on set, for different scenes. And we had to like talk to these therapists on Zoom because as you can see, even it's all the way up to the third episode now. Some of the things that you see that they were doing to people, it can really mess with you mentally. You know what I'm saying? So, and then even filming in Baltimore, every time, like, say if I would catch an Uber somewhere and the Uber driver would recognize who I was and knew I was filming, this guy would say, "Hey, I experienced that with Wayne Jenkins. Like he planted drugs on me. He locked me up," or any of those cops, So this was a sensitive subject shooting in Baltimore. People really that went through it. We met them.
Yo, oh, that is wild, man. Trey Chaney is with us, of course, when we own this city.
Yeah.
Trey, I'm hearing something in there because obviously the story about the GTTF
Yeah.
covers these are monsters. I mean, these were evil people, right?
Right.
You played a cop who did his job and helped take down monsters who happened to be cops. And it is a complicated conversation. I'm sure for you as a black man, it's an incredibly complicated conversation about the relationship with police and terrible things that have happened. How do you deal with all of that and reconcile the entirety of that conversation, which comes to light obviously in a big way during the course of this show?
Well, the unfortunate part that you just mentioned about it is we're talking about the monsters and we're talking about the worst unit in police history, which overshadows the good cops. Right. And that's the touchy subject that we're still dealing with to this day. It's a lot of great cops out of here, but out in this world, but from, our experiences being black men and, police brutality and getting pulled over for no reason. If you're driving a nice vehicle, you're getting your car searched. I mean, this is the type of stuff that we gotta face. And, a lot of that plays into racism. It plays into racism. It plays into, the mistreatment that we all face in this country today. But this type of conversation is like the navigating, and saying, okay, you got the problem. We're too old and too grown. We should know right from wrong. We should know how to treat people. But at the same time, with a subject like this and a show like We Own This City, it's, bringing up this type of dialogue. And hopefully, it could bring change. I know, speaking to David Simon, while we were on set, it seems like 20 years ago with The Wire, and then 20 years later, things seem to have gotten worse, with mass incarceration, the war on drugs, the, corrupt police officers. But still, we're trying to bring about some type of change by sparking this, intense, heavy dialogue.
Trey, one of the things I told Justin's book, of course, was what sparked. I mean, I guess the story itself started this, the GTTF. Then Justin's book is what led to the show. And I remember saying to Justin, the subtext to me in reading the book was it demanded a question of you, the reader, which is how corruptible are you? Because for me, it was easy to separate. Hey, Wayne Jenkins is a monster. I mean, like although you'll talk to people and say, well, actually, even he was kind of a sweet person at times, right? Like, right. But I can see he's a monster. Then you see all of the rest of the GTTF, and you're like, I don't know if they were evil or if they were just easily corruptible once they were given power. As you got into this story, I'm sure you read the book and then read the script.
Right.
Did you find yourself asking yourself any of those same questions? Like, hey, if I had been in a different path in life, like, would I have been corruptible, if I had been given some power?
Yeah, it falls under the title leadership, man. I mean, because when you think about Wayne Jenkins, it started from somebody before him, so it's almost like a trickle effect. It was passed down to him, and it does make you question yourself, like, well, wow, what if I was on his team? What if I was a part of the gun trace task force? And I was forced to almost like, hey, take the money.
Yep, this is the way it's going to go. Yeah.
And don't
are you one of us or not? Are you part of the brotherhood or not? Right.
Yeah, and that's a lot of pressure.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure. So it's it's a question that definitely comes up that you got to think about. But at the same time, it just takes me back to, it's a shame that good police officers don't get the media highlight. We're talking about the corruptness of policing, and that's not how this is supposed to go. Like I said in the beginning, if you ask a little kid right now, well, I can't really say right now because things are just out of control, but if you ask a kid like, hey, is a police officer supposed to save lives? Are they supposed to protect the community? They're going to say, yeah. Some kids say they want to be police officers because of the example good police officers set. So it's like, man, I'm happy to be a part of a show that does expose what went on and how we can try to get past this.
He is Trey Chaney. Again, he is in We Own This City every Monday night on HBO. He's going to tell us about some of his other projects here in a second. Yeah. Trey, I've kind of described this as like in The Wire, Baltimore was the show. Baltimore was a character, if you will, within the show. This to me is more that Baltimore is the setting this time around, right? Not right. A character, because I feel like this story could have played out anywhere, and frankly, probably has played out in a lot of other cities, right?
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like you said, Baltimore was sort of like the character, but We Own This City it's the whole entire world, if you think about it. Because everyone, even in the city of Baltimore, was affected, and that's the tough part. I mean, this was everybody affected as a whole, not just the cast members, not just the producers and the writers, Justin Fenton and everybody who wrote it. This was a huge, major impact on everybody that had to go through this turmoil in that city.
Trey, your relationship with Baltimore over the years, right? I'm sure wherever you go, I have no doubt, even though, you were a little more babyface back then, like, I have no doubt that you still have humans that come up to you and call you Poot everywhere you are, right? And I know you play into it on social media.
Let me tell you something. It's not a day that goes past that I don't step foot outside of my house that I don't get recognized for Poot on The Wire.
I believe it.
It's not a day that goes past. Like, literally, and I'm saying this 20 years later, and it's an incredible feeling, because I'm like, wow, I didn't know what I was a part of when I was cast on The Wire as Poot. That was my first audition ever. That was the first job I had ever booked as an actor. First, out the gate. And now I'm sitting here speaking to you 20 years later saying, hey, The Wire is the most groundbreaking, critically acclaimed show of all time. And now I'm back with the same team on another historical project.
A wonderful piece of art, like a phenomenal piece of art.
Because We Own This City is going to get talked about for the next 20 years too. I mean, David, one thing about David Simon, he doesn't miss. And it's almost like, to have that level of talent and passion for writing, you got to bring in George Pelicanos, Nina Noble, Ed Burns, and then our amazing director, Renardo Marcus Green, who directed King Richard. He directs all 6 episodes of a David Simon project, HBO Max. It's like, it ain't no losing with this. I mean,
that's a crew.
You're going to see, that's a real crew. And I mean, just being on set with them and watching how humble these guys are, like, and they're passionate about what they do, and they're just such nice human beings. You're like, wait a minute, I'm eating lunch with David Simon. Like, what what is this? Like, what? I mean, he created The Wire.
Yes.
And it's like,
Trey, how long was it? You referenced you didn't know when you booked it at first, but like we go back to 2006, and The Wire in 2006 even was not what it became, say, 5 years later.
That's true.
When did you realize, like, when was the moment where it hit you? Like, we didn't make a a good TV show that ran for a few years that people like when did it hit you like, my God, we created an iconic eternal piece of pop
Man,
culture?
man. Okay, premiered in 2002. Okay, so 2000. I really got to say when it ended in
Yeah.
2008,
Okay.
because it's almost like that effect that HBO and HBO Max has now, where they run this thing when you least expect it. People are calling me now saying, Trey, I just watched The Wire. And I'm like, it's 2022.
Right.
What?
Right.
They're like, yeah, I just watched all 5 seasons of The Wire. It's the most critically acclaimed show I've ever. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, Glenn, it hits me at certain moments. It hit me in 2008 when it ended. It hit me again in 2010 when it was over and done with, and people were watching marathons and still having Wire parties.
I believe everyone during the pandemic went back and rewatched from start to finish.
They said,
I know I was among them.
yeah, I was too. And a lot of people laugh when I say that, but with sometimes when you're in a project, when you're in it, you don't really see what everybody else sees because you're in it.
Yep.
I had to step out of Trey Chaney. I had to step out of Poot from The Wire and watch what the world was praising. And watching all 5 seasons, even watching some of my scenes, memorable scenes, and watching people like Idris Elba and Michael B. Jordan. And rest in peace to Michael
K. Oh
yeah,
God, man.
yeah. And that's a real touchy subject for me, Michael K. Williams, because he was so supportive of my career.
Wow.
He wanted to really see me win, and we would have talks. 3 weeks before Michael actually passed, I had spoke to him about us putting something together. Like I wanted to book him on something that I was doing, and it was just a sad day, September 6th of 2021 last year. Yeah, it killed us, man.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Look, man, I only had a few conversations with Michael K over the years, bro, but the power that man could convey.
Yeah.
Just by putting his hand on your shoulders, my God, it felt like you were talking to a giant, bro.
Yeah, but, you were. Yeah, you were. And I really, even with the success of We Own This City and The Wire 20-year anniversary coming up, it's like I wish he was here, man. But he's here in his energy is here. He's not here in the physical form, but you can feel his energy, and it's we all go way back. You go way back with us. From day one. So it's like, yo. But all we can keep on doing is pressing on, and we can, just keep on delivering powerful work and to honor his name, because that's what he wanted,
He was an artist, bro. He was truly an artist. Trey, I mean, bro, we could do this for an hour and a half. I know you're filming. Let's talk about what you got going on. Let's talk about everything you have that you're working on and anything we can plug for you, social media, anything.
Yeah. Like my new project, We Need to Talk, is coming out May 13th on all digital streaming platforms. It's a video gamer film. I play a video gamer named Tango Unchained, and James Maslow from Big Time Rush. Yeah, James Maslow from Big Time Rush is the star of it. It's about a YouTuber named Scott, who is a famous YouTuber, but he's trying to, separate the lifestyle of being a YouTube gamer versus the real life and, spending time with his family and friends. And I'm one of the friends on a video game all day. Todd Wolf, who's a good friend of mine out of Philadelphia, wrote it, directed it. It's going to be huge. Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story, is on Tubi right now.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet, and I'm going to.
Holy crap. Please do, man. Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story. It captures when I first got casted for The Wire, what led up to that. But when The Wire ended in 2008, Hollywood, they didn't call my phone. I just wasn't booking jobs. So I made it a point to get out in the streets of Washington, DC, which is where I'm from,
Yep.
and started selling my own merchandise out of the trunk of my car and built the fan base. To this day, like talks about how I got on Saints and Sinners on Bounce TV, which is still one of my other projects. Saints and Sinners is the #1 show on Bounce. I play Kendrick Murphy. We're in our 6th season, so every Sunday at 8 o'clock on Bounce, you can check it out. And all 5 seasons are on Hulu as well. So yeah, man, Undeniable. And I put another film on Tubi called 6 Hearts 1 Beat about me falling in love with a young lady with 4 kids, and that's doing well. So
Awesome.
Just staying busy. Then my music career, I'm dropping a video like once a month.
It must be nice to have a talent, bro. It must be nice to be talented, man.
Yeah, I'm just juggling, man. You know what? I take that back. I'm not juggling. I'm balancing it all. Awesome. Because the entertainment business is one thing, but then being married, to my wife Aisha, going on 18 years, 2 kids, a granddaughter, the family life is separate. So I've been good at navigating through, balancing, and when I do my work, I give it 1,000%. When I come home, take this hat off. I'm a husband. I'm a father, grandfather. I'm like, okay, it's family time now. So yeah, man, it just feels good to talk to you though, Glenn, because you're taking me back 25 years I've been in this business. And a lot of people don't make it in this business, man, because it's hard. But if you can focus on being committed to the process without getting emotionally attached to the end result, which is whatever reward you think, and just really do the work, that's been my whole motto. My head is down, I'm skating, tunnel vision. I'm going to get it.
Trey, I got to tell you, man, this city has had a complicated relationship with The Wire in particular over the years. Yeah. I have always found and look, man, I've lost homies like to the streets. I feel you. I'm a white man, but I have the drug game has spread across everybody in this area. And what I'll tell you is I am grateful for the art that you all have connected, that our city is connected, that now originally one incredible piece of art and now another incredible piece of art. It means a lot. There's a lot of cities in this country that will never be connected to such phenomenal pieces of art. So do they show our warts? Absolutely. But every city's got warts. And I'm grateful that you and everybody involved has helped tell our city's warts and our stories through such beautiful art, man. It's really powerful to me.
And that's a huge point, man, because Baltimore, that's my second home. The Baltimore City is what made me who I am. If it wasn't for The Wire, I wouldn't have been out here. That y'all gave me my start. And every time I come to Baltimore, it's love. Like, real genuine love. I got family members out there, so, just having a key to be able to pull up in the city anytime I want and hang out, and really embrace the culture. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore, it's so funny because Rob Brown, who plays on We Own the City, he described it as it's nice and it's tough. Or he said it's kind and it's tough. Wow. One of those he said, because it's both.
Yep.
You're going to get it all.
Yep.
You come to be more.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful, brother. I'm grateful for this conversation. I'm happy for your success. 3 more weeks of We Own This City, Monday nights on HBO. Trey Chaney, I want to do this again. We're gonna try to do a 20th anniversary celebration here in a couple of months.
And I'm down. I'm down for that, Glenn. And I want people to follow me right now, man, on Instagram. It's Trey Chaney Vision. That's TrayChaneyVision. And the Twitter is at Trey Chaney, TrayChaney. And then ChaneyWay.com is my website. I'm on Facebook. Trey Poot Chaney. I had to put the Poot in there because The Wire, and then Trey Chaney. But yeah, man, just y'all can look me up. I'm all over, man, because I'm out here. I'm working. I'm out here just staying consistent and staying determined to just follow my dreams, and that's it.
Happy for you, man. Trey Chaney, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Brother.